Elon Musk.
There was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go fuck yourself.
Oh, that's cold.
But go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
Well, hello, kiddies. It's your friendly neighborhood watchman here with you today to talk about our favorite CEO, that of course being Bob Iger of the now infamous Walt Disney Company. This man has come up with some curious comments, to put it mildly. So without further ado, I'd like to hear, or read I should say, just what he has to say. From Bounding into Comics, with the byline from Spencer Backley, with the heading, Disney's CEO Bob Iger attempts to blame the Marvel's abysmal quality on COVID and lack of executive oversight on set. Interesting indeed. So without further ado, let's jump right into this. Bob Iger tells Julia Boorstin that, quote, we are very bullish on the future of Disney Plus, end quote. He may be selling it, but it's highly doubtful that anyone will buy it. According to Disney CEO Bob Iger, rather than the studio's own talents and workflow, the actual culprits behind the impressively poor quality of the Marvels were the COVID-19 pandemic and a supposed lack of on-set oversight from executives. Yeah, I had a gut feeling it was something like that. The current executive head of the House of the Socialist Mouse offered his take on Marvel's latest disaster while speaking to attendees at the 2023 edition of the New York Times Dealbook Summit, an annual speaking event wherein the outlet's Andrew Ross Sorkin publicly interviews numerous high-profile individuals from across the world's industry. For example, this year's guests include the great American Vice President Kamala Harris.
It comes in the morning.
Tesla CEO Elon Musk and former U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Speaking to the topic of Disney's recent string of box office misses, Iger began per a live tweet of the event provided by The Verge by admitting that not only does the company, quote, need to get more realistic, end quote, about their internal performance expectations, but also that it was a definite mistake to approach the streaming era with a flood-the-market-esque production philosophy. They did that with a lot of the Marvel stuff. From there, the CEO turned to directly address the Marvel's box office implosion. Oh, did it do better at the box office? I had no idea. However, rather than blame the film's flopping on either of the recent Hollywood guild strikes, its lack of marketing, or the allegedly sexist attitudes of fans.
That's what I'm talking about!
Oh, he called me out. Oh, yeah. You're right, Bob. Anyone who don't like your company's movies are all sexist and homophobes and racist, etc., etc., etc. And like Disney, we all make films close by concentration camps. Here I go again, straying off target.
Stay on target.
My bad. Iger instead claimed that its poor performance was yet another casualty of Disney's eye for content being bigger than their stomachs. The Marvels was shot during COVID, argued Iger, and there wasn't enough supervision on set from executives. Ooh, one of my favorite actresses. There she is again, folks, Brie Larson, playing Captain Marvel as she taps into her non-binary ability. My hero. Notably, this is not the first time responsibility for Marvel's current quality spiral has been blamed on the executive teams at both Marvel Studios and Disney being stretched too thin. Anonymously relaying their experiences to Variety's Tatiana Siegel for her recent Crisis at Marvel expose, a number of Marvel insiders lamented that while the studio's VFX quality has in fact gone off a cliff over their past few releases, with many pointing to She-Hulk Attorney at Law, hey, I mentioned that show, as a particularly egregious example of this decline. These issues were sadly a symptom of a deeper rot, namely a lack of oversight on script development. In backing up their claim, said sources recalled how, in She-Hulk's original outline, Jennifer's origin was not shown on screen until the series' second to last episode. However, after watching this initial cut, Marvel's higher-ups, Feige included, realized that this delayed explanation as to how the series' protagonist got her powers would confuse rather than excite its viewers. As such, the series was sent back to its VFX team, who were then instructed to do what they could to salvage She-Hulk's narrative in post-production. Per one of specific source who was involved with She-Hulk, the so-called bad visual effects we see was because of half-baked scripts. That is not Victoria, that is Kevin. And even above Kevin, they added, those issues should be addressed in pre-production. The timeline is not allowing the Marvel executives to sit with the material. Yet contrary to Iger's assertion, in reality it seems Marvel Studios' problems have less to do with a lack of executive oversight, but rather an overabundance of it. Case in point, look at Daredevil, Born Again, which infamously was sent back to the drawing board this past October after studio higher-ups realized the Man Without Fear's television return was shaping up to be less than heroic. It's too bad because I really dug his, as many people did, his Netflix co-Marvel series along with The Punisher. In doing so, the studio threw out most of the work produced by the series' original brain trust, a team of producers whose rank included Marvel boss Kevin Feige, Marvel Comics editor Sana Amanat, Disney's Luis D'Esposito, Secret Invasion co-producer Chris Gary, and original series writers Matt Corman and Chris Ord, in favor of handing off its redevelopment to their newly tapped creative team of showrunner Garda Payne, Netflix's The Punisher, and directorial duo Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. Daredevil rises from the ashes in Daredevil Volume 1. All in all, it seems that rather than letting executives attempt to control the entire lurching machine, that is, the MCU, it would serve Iger, Disney, and Marvel far better to continue shifting towards dedicated creative teams. But then again, this is Marvel, and they're not exactly known for taking the respectable and obvious way out of their own self-inflicted issues. Oh man, this is so far removed from the early days. 2008 with Iron Man, Captain America First Avenger, Thor, and the rest to follow. The first Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 1, fun stuff. Then Disney's wokeism just got worse and worse. But I digress. As we usually do, let's read a few of these comments from the readers. Starting off will be Giggling Stoner. As the legendary Christopher Lee said, they'll release flop after flop, movies nobody wants to watch, and blame everyone but themselves. Yeah, this is true. Next is Xenomorph with, never underestimate a corporation's ability to not take responsibility for their own actions. A guest replies, the people at the top got there by making sure they never were blamed for anything bad and got the credit for everything good. Ain't that their winning formula for getting that golden parachute when everything eventually hits the fan? Last but not least, we'll end it with James Toney's comment, quoting Iger. The Marvels was shot during COVID, argued Iger, and there wasn't enough supervision on set from executives. So who's in charge of all of them? Oh, that's right, you, Bob Iger. So you are to blame for all the bad Marvel films lately. Period. Brother, you got that right. Thumbs up. A guest replies, he's setting up an excuse. Chapek was in charge then, not him. You got that right too. Give out them thumbs up. It's the Christmas season after all. Well, folks, we come to the end of this episode. If you're surprised by these comments from the legendary Disney CEO Bob Iger, then comment and let me know. If you're not surprised that he's making excuses, then hit that like button and help this channel out by subscribing. That is, if you haven't already. And if you have, I thank you very much. And hit that notification bell so that you'll always be forewarned whenever I'm ready to drop another video. And as always, stay safe and I bid you peace.
Well, let me ask you then,
That's how I feel. Don't advertise.
how do you think then about the economics of X? If part of the underlying model, at least today, and maybe it needs to shift, maybe the answer is it needs to shift away from advertising. If you believe that this is the one part of your business where you will be beholden to those who have this view, what do you do?
F-Y.
I understand that, but there's a reality too, right? I mean, Linda Yaccarino's right here, and she's got to sell advertising.
Absolutely. So, actually, what this advertising boycott is going to do, it's going to kill the company.
And do you think that
and the whole world will know that those advertisers killed the company, and we will document it in great detail.